Well,
Hey guys, how you doing? This is the Two Vet Sports Show. This is Christian, and we got my boy Anthony over here.
what's up, guys? What's up? A lot to get into today.
Oh yeah, we got a lot to unpack. Long weekend of good old back-to-back sports with the NFL, and then a lot of other information popping out there. Got a lot to talk about between our bets for this weekend. We got head coach vacancies, and then we got later in the show top 25 of the way too early,
Baby.
way too early.
I love them, man. I love doing that kind of stuff. Hey, I think both of us had a pretty decent weekend in terms of picks.
I think the only one that we were split on.
I lost 2 games. You lost 1.
Yeah, I lost 1. You lost 2 games. You had the Chargers taking the win. I had Jags, and then we both said that the Bucks would somehow pull it out. That didn't happen.
Hey, you saw Byron Leftwich got fired.
Is that breaking?
Yeah, I thought I saw it today. But speaking of, let me make sure. Says will likely be fired. Hasn't.
Yeah, likely be
decision has been made.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, speaking of our game that we were split on, dude, that has to be the most epic comeback in a playoff game I've ever seen with my own eyes, and the greatest one since the Oilers and Buffalo Bills. The epic comeback of the Buffalo Bills on the Houston Oilers. But that's Houston for you.
Yeah, definitely. Before we get any further into this, I do want to go ahead and make sure everybody's tracking. Hey, go ahead and share it and like this post. We are live right now on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter at the Two Vet Sports Show. Go ahead and hit us in the DMs. Well, not DMs, but like direct message us with the Twitter. If you want to engage with us, you can. It's at Two Vets SS. Just basically put this information out to your friends and your family. We can't grow without y'all. We need y'all to help us to get us out there, and just want to make sure that you're following us on all the your favorite podcasts sites. That's what this show is going to be available on. Kind of stuttering a little bit to this today, but it is what it is. Getting used to this. So from that, we're just going to go back and refresh on all the games from this past weekend. Obviously, everybody should know who won, but we'll kind of just break down what kind of caused the games to go awry.
Yeah, man. So we had the epic comeback. I don't think there's a lot to be said about Trevor Lawrence, man. He, the worst start you could have as a quarterback. And he came back and had a phenomenal second half. I mean, man, that was epic what Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars did.
Completely agree. For it to be down 27-0, basically going into the second quarter, right? I think it was in the second quarter. They didn't score until the last minute,
right,
of the second quarter. So
and
make it 27-7. But
honestly, I think that made the difference in the game. I mean,
it was a momentum builder. You push that into the half, and players are gonna get ignited. They're like, okay, we're not out of this. And that's what happened. I mean, you saw it kind of happen. You saw the Chargers just failed to get anything done offensively. They didn't run the ball. They didn't do anything else like that. Ooh, sorry about that. That popped up. But yeah, Trevor to basically throw 3 interceptions in the first quarter, and then throw another interception in the second quarter That's insane. And he came back to throw 4 touchdowns, and that's insane.
We're going to try to – you're going to have to excuse us, guys. We're going to try to move through last weekend pretty quick just because we've got a lot to get to, looking forward to things. I think the Minnesota Vikings were exactly what you and I both said they were.
Frauds.
I mean, good season. Congratulations to the Vikings on the 13-4 record. But the Giants punched them in the mouth, and they couldn't handle it. Daniel Jones got it done with his legs. Saquon ran for 2 touchdowns. If you take care of the football, if you do not turn the football over, it does not matter who you are. You give yourself a chance to win every single game. And the Giants took care of the ball. It was, in my opinion, it's that simple.
Daniel Jones was lighting him up with his feet. And I think I said this last show, and I said that, if they can get the play action running, they can get the ground game running, which they did. It opens up Daniel Jones, and it showed.
I like what the Giants are doing, man.
His feet, was accurate, didn't force any balls. I appreciate what he did in that game, and I think that's his solidifier to be the quarterback next season for.
Yeah, man,
not on deal next year. They didn't take his 5th-year option, so for him to solidify that win, and we'll talk more about this later, but.
I think a candidate for coach of the year should be Brian Daboll. Like, I think what he's done in New York, I mean, for them to be in the playoffs this year, he's done a really good job with that team. He's played to Daniel Jones' strengths. He's got one of the best running backs in the league. Some would say the best running back in the league, and he's got this team moving in the right direction. I really like where they're going.
I agree. I think they're in the right direction, and it's a testament to good coaching. Good coaching can turn around programs, and we
reiterate this. I feel like we beat a dead horse, but we reiterate this every single week. Look at Jacksonville. Look at New York. I mean, good coaching really, really does matter, and I think that's why it's so important that these teams that. These 4 or 5 teams that have head coaching vacancies, that they make the right decision, because it does matter. Your head coach absolutely does matter.
Yeah, it definitely does. And Brian Daboll has been a staple on that. And I don't want to, criticize the Vikings any much more, because Kevin O'Connell is going to be a good coach. He's going to be able to lead the Vikings. I think it's going to be a good thing. But I think what this game proved was Mike Zimmer was not the problem. They've got to fix some things on defense, but Mike Zimmer was not the problem. Kirk Cousins was.
So I think the Vikings are they're not they don't have the talent yet. I think you've got to have good coaching. You've also got to have talent, and I don't know, man. I think they were ranked 30th or 31st this year on defense, and that's just not going to get it done when you start playing the cream of the crop in the NFL.
Right. I think there's going to be a big draft for them. I think there's going to need to get more in depth on their offensive line and defensive key players. I mean, next year they're still going to be a contender, but I think they're going to need to learn to get past. They need to get past Kirk Cousins. I don't think he's not going to be the guy there.
When I say they're not, I know they've got some pieces. I don't mean that they have no talent. I mean, they've got Dalvin Cook, they've got Jay Jetta, they've got some really talented weapons on offense. I just think, I don't know what it is about these teams just holding on, being loyal to mediocre players, man. I don't mean that as a bash to Kirk Cousins, but man, he's not the guy to get them to the Super Bowl.
And what sucks even more is Justin Jefferson was shut down.
Yeah.
The Giants were shutting down him. Dalvin Cook wasn't really that big of an impact. It's like the things we kind of talked about with this game, and a lot of it came to fruition. If they could lock down Justin Jefferson, make them play off their game. I mean, it was good job by the Giants. And they got a big test coming up.
So impressive work by Brian Daboll in New York. I'm really looking forward to next week against the Eagles. That ought to be a really good game. I want to get into the AFC because I thought that the AFC was coming into the playoffs. I thought that the AFC was really top heavy. Really, I really did. I really thought that the AFC was really top heavy with the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Bengals, and then everybody else. And we found out this weekend that maybe it's a little closer than we thought. I mean, we could start with the Bengals.
Yeah, we can start with the Bengals Ravens. First of all, Tyler Huntley shouldn't have been that guy that should have gone for the goal line stand. I think I saw a stat per Next Gen Stats on Amazon Prime, I think it was, or whoever did the Next Gen Stats, whoever the company is that does that. They said that when he went for that ball, when they tapped it out, he was like 0.6 of a yard away. That's pretty far in retrospect to how far he got that ball to it. That's not good. That's not good enough. You had a back like J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards. I understand like the quarterback sneak has become king because now they can motion a man behind, give a nice push, but defenses are starting to crack up on it. Like they're going to figure it out. They're going to figure out what's going to work best for those kind of formations and how they're going to get those QB sneaks running.
I'm a big fan of one NFL team did it this weekend, and I can't remember who it was, but they came out in fact, I think it was the Cowboys. They came out.
Cowboys did it.
4th and 1, 4th and inches. They called a timeout. They didn't like the look that they had. And if it is, Tampa had the box loaded up, and Dak turned around and pitched it to Tony Pollard, and he went for like 20 yards.
Yeah, I think it was the.
It was Dallas. If I'm not mistaken, if it was somebody else, y'all feel free to correct me.
There's a couple of teams that definitely pulled that one off.
But man, you've got J.K. Dobbins in the backfield. Why not? I mean,
he was running it, so they just couldn't commit to the run. I don't understand it because like he had 12 carries for like 50-something yards. He was getting it done, and he was making some damage on the defense. But I don't know if it's a Jim Harbaugh thing or if it's a Roman, the offensive coordinator, was it his issue. I mean, I don't know if they could get on the same page because they wanted to keep. I don't know. It's like they wanted to keep running the same offense that Lamar was running, but give it to Tyler Huntley.
Yeah,
and it was not. That's not the case. But I do agree. I think if Lamar was playing, Ravens may have taken that one.
Yeah, for sure.
But not with Tyler Huntley.
I think also if Tua played, we're talking about
it had been different.
A massive upset in Buffalo.
Buffalo played sloppy
football. And next week they've got the Bengals next, and that's going to be
a sloppy game. I don't know. They're going to have to figure something out because, like, I mean, I think both of these teams know they played sloppy ball this weekend, and so
the likelihood of
bring their A game against each other.
The likelihood of those two teams playing bad games back to backs not likely. I'm excited, dude. I'm really excited about that Jags Chiefs game. I think Trevor Lawrence got his playoff jitters out of him, and that might be a really good game, man.
Yeah. But we do got to hit up one more team. I think we just didn't cover yet, which, I mean, it's pretty much the giveaway. It's the Cowboys and the Bucks. Is this Tom Brady's last game?
No.
You think he's coming back?
I do.
I don't think he's going to be back with the Bucks, though.
No, I keep saying this. I think I've said it several times. I would like to see him in Las Vegas.
I do a 1 year deal, Las Vegas. 1 year deal. Don't push any money. Whoopsies.
Something simple. Something
Yep.
1 year deal. Reunite him with his buddy, and see. I mean, you got one of the best receivers in the league in Las Vegas. I think the Raiders have some pieces in place where they could be a team next year.
If they can keep
Division
Josh
is tough.
Jacobs, they can keep Josh Jacobs on the roster, and then maybe get Tom for the year. But I don't know. The way he sounded at that press conference, the end of game press conference, didn't sound too motivating. I mean, he's done this before where he said like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna retire," and then come back like what 2-3 weeks later. He did this earlier last year, so I don't really know what does he have to do to decide.
One more game, dude. I think right now the 49ers are the best team in the NFL.
Yeah, yeah.
They're the only. I'm sorry, the Cowboys won in dominant fashion, but the Niners, dude, they're just dominating everybody.
They're gonna have. I think the Cowboys are gonna be in for a huge awakening against San Francisco because that offense is going to run, and that defense is going to get smoked by a good bit just because of how they are so creative with their backfield between Christian McCaffrey, Debo, Elijah Mitchell.
The Niners are going to
be. Micah Parsons is going to play like outside linebacker, not charging at the dang quarterback every 5 minutes because they're going to run some interesting screens, power back, and then all that fun stuff. They're just going to get fun with it. So I think Shanahan's going to really open up the playbook against Cowboys. That's just my opinion, though.
Yeah, we're in for a fun week.
Yep.
Divisional round next weekend.
Yep. I think that covers all the games for the past weekend. Just covered all the who won. But next we get to go into the betting odds, and then we're gonna give our picks and estimates on what we're gonna be thinking this weekend. Also a fun thing, you'll get to actually see the slides this week and actually see be a little more creative this week. I got a little fancy with it with the stream, so it's gonna be fun. You'll see him here in a couple minutes.
I mean, we can jump right into this, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say we just jump right into it. Jacksonville, Kansas City. It's 8.5 spread. Kansas City taking the dub. What do you think?
Straight up, I'm going to go with the Chiefs against the spread. I'm going to take Jacksonville. I think the Jags showed us that they belong last weekend. I think this is going to be a good game, but I think in the end, Patrick Mahomes is going to be too much, and so I'm thinking like a 3-point game. Good, solid football. I'm going to go straight up. I'm going to go Chiefs here.
Yeah. What's it called? Sorry, I just had to open the ketchup bottle or the secret sauce ranch for my wife. What's it called? I think the Dolphins kind of showed something that the Kansas City Chiefs do not have, and that's a good defense. And Kansas City is questionable with the defense. In my own opinion,
did the Chiefs play the Dolphins this year?
I say they did, but I don't know. I don't want to quote anything. I just view the Kansas City Chiefs defense a little less than the Dolphins defense because Javon Holland and Xavier Howard and that defense was giving them fits, but I mean they still managed to pull out the win. I mean, they were about to pull off the win against Buffalo. So my opinion is I gotta go with Jags. I think the Jags might steal it. because they're going to be motivated. They're going to play sloppy again.
Okay.
Trevor's not going to throw 4 interceptions again. That's not happening.
Okay.
I trust Patrick.
No,
but
dude, I'm with you. I think this is going to be a good football game.
I think it's going to be a good offensive football game. I think defense is going to be questionable. If they can get home to Patrick, good for the Jags. But I don't think Kansas City has that great of a defense. That's just my straight to it kind of analysis of them.
What game you want to do next?
We'll just go right down the order here. We got the Giants and the Eagles. I'm going against the Eagles here. I think the
New York Giants are going to win this football game. Absolutely, they're going to win this football game.
Yeah, they're on a roll.
I don't think I need to remind you or anybody else what happened the last time the Giants were 9-7 and a wild card team. That's all I'm going to say.
Super Bowl champions. Oh man. I like the Giants, man. They're well coached, playing efficient ball, not turning the ball over. Eagles, they have a really good defense, and I don't want to bet against them. But when you have a team like the Giants who are playing,
the Giants are going to win this football game. Y'all heard it here, right here, because I know the national media is everybody's picking the Eagles. Y'all heard it right here on the Two Vet Sports Show. The New York Giants are going to win this football game, and they're going to be playing the San Francisco 49ers in the NFC Championship. Y'all heard it right here first. Yeah,
definitely. I think we're going to be on the same page on that front. We're gonna be eating crow if they don't pull it out. They don't pull it out. We're screwed.
Week, baby. Next.
Yep. Next game is gonna be the Bengals and the Buffaloes. The Bengals and the Buffaloes. The Bengals and the Bills. They are at a +5 spread. They got the Bills to win this game, and I have to agree.
Man, we're split on one every week. We're split on two this week, though.
I think the Bills. Yeah, I think we're about to be split on all of these, besides the San Francisco game. But we'll get to it. Yeah, I think the Bills pull it out. I don't think they're that far off. Josh Allen just needs to use his legs. He didn't use his legs at all this past game. He didn't really put anybody in fear that he's going to run. And I think they're going to have to correct that issue against the Bengals because their defense is very good. They're underrated, very good.
Dude, the Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase combo is the nastiest combo. I love Cincinnati's offense. Like, I'm a huge fan. I think I'm gonna go with the Cincinnati Bengals in this one.
The only reason why I'm not going with them, it's a key factor. Their left tackle is down. Backup left tackle. You could see how much in duress Joe Burrow was playing in. I know that the Bills don't have that good pass rush. They haven't without Von Miller, but they can still pass rush, and that's what Sean McDermott's going to have to figure out is how to create pressure without, risking the too many defenders into the open for Cincinnati to get everything open. So my opinion is going to be they're going to have to play. Joe Burrow's going to have to play, get the ball out, quick ball.
We've got 3 people listening right now, live. And I'm going to guess that one of them, at least one of them, is a Dallas Cowboys fan. And let me be the first to tell y'all, the Dallas Cowboys playoff run ends this weekend.
Oh, they're gone.
The San Francisco 49ers are too much.
Yeah, San Francisco is going to have that ability to just create pure offense and chaos. So I do believe that they're going to get it done.
All right, recap. I'm taking Chiefs, Giants, Bengals, Niners.
Yep, and I'm taking Jags, Giants, Bills, Niners.
All right.
So
We're split on 2 of them this week.
yeah, we're split on them. We'll see how it fares out. At least one of them will probably be a little the upset, I do believe. He said, your buddy over here. Did I miss y'all's Super Bowl's picks? I know we were still a tad early, but who you guys got winning it all? Curious in your picks. Thanks for the content, boys. All right. Thanks, Joshua Rhodes. So appreciate
That's
that.
my brother. Appreciate you listening in, bro.
All right. I mean,
I've already got my pick. I've already got my pick. The 2 teams that's going to be playing in the Super Bowl, and I've got my pick on who I think is going to win the Super Bowl. Short answer, I think we're going to see the Cincinnati Bengals and the San Francisco 49ers play each other, and I'm going to say that the Niners win it all.
Who's the AFC team you chose?
Bengals.
The Bengals. I got Bills 49ers, and I think the 49ers do win it out. I think they're the most consistent team right now, running efficient.
They're of all the playoff teams this year, they're the only team that I feel like is firing on all cylinders.
Yeah. Yeah.
They've got that thing going on with Brock Purdy. They're eating it up. They're eating it up. Mr. Irrelevant, third string quarterback. I love what the Niners got going on, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, y'all might not like this. You might not like this.
Mm-hmm.
But of the teams remaining, they're the best coached team.
Kyle Shanahan?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's coaching out of his mind right now.
And it goes beyond Kyle Shanahan. Their defensive coordinator is wanted by every team that's interviewing head coaches.
Oh, yeah. We'll get into the head coaches here in a minute.
Yeah, that's the best coached football team. They're insanely talented. They're firing on all cylinders. The 49ers got it going on right now, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that covers it all for the basis for the week. I mean, we'll jump back in on probably next week and see. I don't know if we're gonna do a Thursday show or not to either re-solidify picks, but we'll see if there's any news. There might be some news breaking on Thursday. We'll discuss it and we'll figure out what's best. But let's go ahead and get to the next slide here. It's gonna be today. There was a hiring over in the Arizona Cardinals land. They hired Monty Ossenfort, who is from the Patriot system, but was recently the player personnel over in the Titans.
Okay.
He was a big candidate last year. He was one of the top 4 guys when he was interviewing with Carolina between Scott Fitterer, Monty Ossenfort, and a couple of the other candidates. I think it's good that he got a job now. I think Arizona's on the right track.
I'm a big fan of the Belichick tree, man.
I think Belichick's tree is pretty out there now. So this is going to be interesting for Arizona. Now they get to focus their search on head coach. They wanted to get a GM done. Here's the thing. So we're about to get into this. Sean Payton's not too happy because he's set to interview with them, I think, come Thursday. He's set to interview with them in person. And Sean Payton, we'll get into it, but he's the kind of guy that doesn't really want a GM. He wants the ability to control all the roster.
Yeah, like a Bill Belichick situation.
Right. So we'll get into that a little bit further.
Yeah, man, I think we're about to get into it, I know, but Sean's already got, I mean, yeah.
All right, so next we got up. I got a tweet from Ari Miroff on Twitter, and just kind of showing what the vacancies are right now around the NFL. Currently, Cardinals, like we said, Monty got hired on. Also, right before the show happened, Titans hired Ran Carthen. I can't remember exactly. I think he came from internal of the Titans. hiring, so he's going to be the new GM of the Titans. I don't really know much about him, but
I will put my. I'm not real big. I haven't done a whole lot of research on the OC, like
yeah,
field availability. But
Mhm.
I will almost guarantee y'all two things. Bill O'Brien will be the offensive coordinator of the New England Patriots. Okay. And of the other 5 teams that need an OC, one of them will be Cliff Kingsbury. I'll go ahead and put that out there right now. That's my opinion. Hey, what's up, Tony?
This is my man
I,
Strick over here. He was in my old unit back when I was with the 82nd. So this man right here wants to know our thoughts on Tom Brady. I'm gonna let you know already. He is a Tom Brady fan.
I think TB12 is taking his services to Las Vegas, sir. Think we'll see him reunite with his buddy Josh McDaniels.
I think his two options are either Las Vegas or go to Fox and be an analyst for the rest of his career, or however
Yeah.
much longer he wants to do. But he did not look good in that Cowboys game, and I don't know if that's going to be something that's going to hinder a team to look at him and say, you're going to be 46 years old and you look like you couldn't throw a ball to save your life. So it's very questionable. By the way, if you are watching the stream right now, go ahead and share with your friends and your family. Make sure you click that like button. Try and get some more people in here so we can get interactive with y'all. But yeah, Tom is either retiring, going to Fox, or he's going to Las Vegas for 1 year. And it's going to be a 1 year deal. It's not going to be anything extraneous. It's going to be a 1 year, try it out, figure it out. Good luck kind of deal.
I'm really excited, man. I think we've kind of seen the head coaching field kind of take its shape over, since we talked about it last. If you want, we can dive right in on.
Yeah, I just wanted to go back down the list a little bit further. The head coaching vacancies that we're about to go through here in a minute. That's the Broncos, the Cardinals, the Colts, the Panthers, and the Texans. Offensive coordinator vacancies right now are the Chargers, the Titans, the Patriots, the Jets, the Rams, and the Commanders. I think we'll get into offensive coordinators once we get into seeing who the head coaches are going to be. And so they'll be in later weeks coming up. And then also we can confirm today that the Browns did hire Jim Schwartz, who was the former defensive coordinator for the Eagles when they won the Super Bowl in 2017. Good hire for the Browns. And then the Falcons did interview Al Holcomb out of Carolina today. He was the interim defensive coordinator under Steve Wilkes. So there's a couple other interviews that they did do. So Atlanta's got a couple of spots, people to got a DC that needs to get filled. So with further ado, we're gonna hop right into it. First up, we got the Cardinals, and these are all, as of right now, they're interviewees for the week or have interviewed. And we'll get further into this once there's some of the names that'll pop up. There's some recent breaking news here in the last 30, 40 minutes that has happened. We'll get into that. But we got Sean Payton, Vance Joseph, Brian Flores, and D'Amico Ryans right now for the Cardinals. What do you think?
I think I think of these 4 names that you listed. We can go ahead and rule out Sean Payton just because we know where he stands in terms of a general manager, and the Cardinals just made that hire today. So I think right now, likely, I'm leaning towards Brian Flores for this job.
Yeah, I'm definitely leaning towards either Brian Flores or D'Amico Ryans. Vance Joseph was the defensive coordinator on staff this past year for them. So it's kind of an internal hire. They do need to, I think, no, they got Brian Flores and D'Amico Ryans. They got 2 minority candidates out of the external part, so they don't really need to look anywhere else technically. So it's kind of a short list, but we'll see what Monty does here in the next coming days, because obviously now he's going to want to see who he can get in there to interview and see whatever else. But if I had to do a pick off of right now, Brian Flores and D'Amico Ryans, one of those two guys, defensive. They need to fix their defense, and then
I think
they need a good
I
offensive
think
coordinator.
Brian Flores was due. I think Brian Flores will make a decent head coach with the right staff around him and the right player personnel. I think Brian Flores will make a solid head coach.
And I mean, not having that kind of leadership that he had down Dolphins
Yeah,
when they wanted to tank for Tua
yeah.
and do all this other stuff, and Tom Brady gave, I don't know. There's a lot to that. So I think if Brian Flores gets the actual fair shake, just like how Steve Wilkes should have gotten a fair shake in Arizona, I think Brian Flores will actually get a good fair shake. But D'Amico Ryans is a heavy candidate, and they're not going to be able to interview him. They will not be able to interview him until after January 30th. That is the next interview cycle available for D'Amico Ryans, I do believe, because he is going to be in the championship. That's the other thing is with the interviews. When playoff time, they can't interview at certain periods of time. Next up, we got the Broncos.
I think this one's the obvious. I mean, in my opinion, this is obvious. I don't want. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing his name, but Iviro.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the obvious choice. You've
Right.
already got the right guy in the building. I think that's their choice.
Yep, because you got Sean Payton, Jim Harbaugh, which they did virtually, but Jim Harbaugh came out earlier today. He didn't come out earlier today, but the Michigan president came out and said, Jim's our guy. He's not going anywhere. So any interviews involving Jim Harbaugh, they're pretty much put for the year, maybe next year. Who knows?
You've already got a talented coach in the building. I don't think there's any reason to go elsewhere.
Yeah. They did request to interview D'Amico Ryans, Jim Caldwell, David Shaw, Raheem Morris, and Dan Quinn. Now, I want to give him a couple of these names here. Jim Caldwell, this is his last cycle. He's 67 years old. There's no reason for him to interview again later on this year. I don't think he's going to be there. David Shaw was the Stanford head coach. That's a college coach. I mean, there's giving him a fair shake. Basically, Raheem Morris, good opportunity for him. I think it'll be a good situation for Denver to have Raheem Morris. Dan Quinn, I think he interviewed for the Broncos last year. So the fact that they're going to bring him back and interview again, that might be a possibility. I know Ejiro Alvaro is there. He might stay as a defensive coordinator, but I could see Dan Quinn getting an actual shot again.
I can tell you right now, if the Broncos don't hire him, one of these teams will hire him as a head coach.
Ejiro Alvaro, I think he's a well-deserving. He has everything you need to be a good coach. He has the time in the NFL. He's held multiple positions. Dan Quinn's just going for his second shot. That's my two picks out of the Broncos. I think it's either Ejiro Alvaro or Dan Quinn. Raheem Morris maybe a strong third, but either one of those guys is my thoughts on that. Anything else you want to go on the Broncos?
No, I'm good here. I think I already know where Sean Payton's headed, so I'll cross him off for the Broncos.
All right. Next up, we got the Colts. This is the tricky one because Jim Irsay, I don't know what he's going to do. And so we'll go off the list here before we get to
I think
out here. So. But we'll go with it's going to be Bobby Ventrone, who was I think he was a defensive coordinator on staff during interim time. Eric Bieniemy.
Guys, by the way, I don't mean to cut you off. Right before we started our show, I don't know if you guys saw this. Ben Johnson has removed himself from consideration for any head coaching position,
which means he is staying in Detroit. I think it's a good move for him. I get he was a one-year offensive coordinator, but he's had prior experience at other positions, especially down in Miami, where he was a tight ends coach, a wide receivers coach, assistant coach, quality control coach in Detroit, then tight ends coach in Detroit. He has all the makeup of knowing the offensive side of the ball, which is why I think he's really good. And I think if he gets another year of experience, under as an offensive coordinator. He's only 36 years old. Next year he's gonna be a prime candidate for somebody who needs a head coach bad. So I think it's a good thing for him if he can get that offense rolling again next year for the defense for Detroit. Good for them. They'll be able to get into the playoffs hopefully
Way
next
too
year.
early pick. Way too early pick for Ben Johnson.
Yeah, way too early pick next year. He's going to be a head coach.
He's going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers after Todd Bowles gets fired.
Oh, don't do that. I don't want that problem. Oof. Okay. Anyways, I don't want those problems down. I don't want Tampa to have a good coach. I'd rather them keep Todd Bowles, please. But we'll get back into the Colts. Other Colts head coaching candidates: Eric Bieniemy, Ejiro Alvaro, D'Amico Ryans, Shane Steichen, Aaron Glenn, Mike Kafka, Don Wink Martindale. Wink Martindale, if he can get a good defense run over there, I'd be happy too. And then Jeff Saturday, still in consideration. He has an interview for the job, but he's still in consideration. I don't think Jeff Saturday should get a job. Personally, I do not think he should get a job. There's way too many other qualified candidates that are available right here on this list that need a jump set Jeff Saturday.
So I'm gonna go this. To me, there's only one name that jumps out that is a very Colts hire, and that's Shane Steichen.
I think that's a yeah.
So that's who I'm gonna go with for this one.
Yeah. Either him, Mike Kafka,
or Eric Bieniemy. They always go after offensive guys.
I think there's issues with Eric Bieniemy that we don't see.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree because he's for the last 3 years.
I don't know how many more interviews he can get. Yeah, the Colts are a toss-up because I don't know what Jim Irsay is going to do, and I don't know what his direction is. Chris Ballard and Jim Irsay are I don't know,
the best owner in football.
I like him. I do like him. I like how he speaks out. He's a better version of Jerry Jones, in my opinion. But yeah, are we going to say our top two candidates probably for this team is going to be either Shane Steichen or who else?
It was Ben Johnson. Maybe Bubba Ventrone.
Internal.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. Next up, got your Texas.
Oh, dude, I look. There is only one name on this list that the Texans they stress me out, dude, because you can't mess it up 3 times in a row.
Wouldn't it be a Texas thing to do, though?
The most Texans thing to do would be to trade a first-round pick for a coach. That would be the most Texans thing that you could do. When
we all got 2 first-round picks, though, so you're only losing 1.
The only name on this list that I want to see in Houston is Jonathan Gannon. Period.
Mm-hmm. Can I tell you who I think is going to be there, though? It's going to be either Jonathan Gannon or Sean Payton.
It's not going to be Sean Payton. I know where Sean Payton's going. I know where Sean Payton's going. No, honestly, D'Amico Ryans would be a really good hire too. I think those are my top 2 names for this job.
Yeah, I can't remember if D'Amico declined.
No, he confirmed that he will interview with the Texans.
Okay.
Yep.
He declined with Carolina, which we'll get on to next. But I think Sean Payton is there. The one name on this list, though, if you're noticing, there's a name on this list that's not on the other lists.
Thomas
Brown. Thomas Brown from the Los Angeles Rams, who is the tight ends coach over there. He is well respected across the league, apparently, and an underrated candidate coming up.
Yep, he can stay underrated.
Don't know who he is, but yeah, that's what the reports are saying. Next up, we're going to go my old team right here. Got a long list here, and this is exactly what Scott Fitter said was not going to happen, but for some reason, it happened. They said there was going to be a short list of candidates, and it turned into this long list of candidates here. We got Sean Payton. They interviewed Sean Payton later this week on Friday. David Tepper is flying out to New York, and also is Sean Payton flying to meet in New York. It's not in Carolina; it's in New York. So that's big question marks because I know Dave has to do his other side job, hedge funds, all that fun stuff. But we interviewed Steve Wilkes on that Tuesday that we could. If Sean Payton doesn't get it, I want Steve Wilkes. That's number one. But my other pick that I wanted, and I think he would have been taking the job if Sean Payton didn't get in the mix, would have been Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson would have been Carolina's head coach if Sean Payton didn't get into the mix. That's just my opinion. But we also have interviewed Jara Alvaro. I hope I'm saying that name right. We're set to interview Ken Dorsey, Shane Steichen. We interviewed Jim Caldwell already. We interviewed Frank Reich. I think we did do an interview already with Mike Kafka. We requested to interview with Kellen Moore. D'Amico Ryans and Jared Mayo, we requested to interview with them, but they actually declined us. So, but here's my thing. So here's my thing. We also, without a head coach, went and interviewed 3 individuals for defensive coordinator. And that is Chris Richard, who was DB's coach for the Saints this last year, who was also prior in the Chargers, I do believe. And then also Marquand Manuel, who actually was a former Carolina Panther under Ron Rivera, but he is the DB's coach up in the Jets. And then we interviewed the guy who I know is going to get the job, Vic Fangio.
Yeah, Vic Fangio's nasty.
Vic Fangio is going to be the defensive coordinator. I'm already banging that table. I want it to happen. I want him to help J.C. Horn out. I want to see what kind of schemes we can get crazy with here. But if I know David Tepper, we can already go ahead and lock in Sean Payton's getting the job. And I'm going to go ahead and say this. Everybody's scared of giving up draft capital for Sean Payton. And especially because of division rival.
Sean Payton is going to be the next head coach of the Carolina Panthers.
Yes.
Write it down.
Everybody's scared because it's a division thing. They're going to think that the Saints are going to try to reap us of all of our picks. I was listening to the radio earlier, and I know his last name's Harper. I can't remember. He was a former player of Sean Payton's. He went to a wedding out in LA because Sean Payton lives out in LA. And basically came out of it and said before he went to that wedding, he had 0 chance of Sean Payton getting the job in Carolina. He said as of today, it's pretty damn clear that Sean Payton's going to get that job. Yeah. And I think the key thing for fans to realize is we don't have to give up this year's number 9 pick, which I think is going to be key for Sean because he's going to be like, no, I want my quarterback. I'm going to want whoever's going to be at number 9, whoever they're going to do to trade up because they're going to just give the Saints next year's first round pick, and it'll be all fine and dandy. Sean can coach until he's 70 years old or even further. That's 10 years. I'm okay with it. but I think he can do that. So I'm all in on it. I just don't want the Saints to get ridiculous with it. So
Yeah, there's no question Sean Payton's going to be the next coach of the Panthers.
yeah, and then Vic Fangio is going to be that defensive coordinator.
And then Cliff Kingsbury, the offensive coordinator.
No, I don't want to see an air raid. Don't. No, please no. Because that offense looked like crap in Arizona, so I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it in Carolina. I think they'll have somebody else. But that's officially my pick. I think it's Sean Payton, unless Steve Wilkes can somehow will it out and, Sean Payton and Tepper just don't get along, which I don't think that's the case. Sean's going to go in there and mesmerize Tepper and tell him all this wonderful things he's going to do. He's going to, try to make the deal a little sweeter over in for the Saints, like make him give away like a 4th round pick this year and then the 1st round pick next year or a 1st round pick later on. Like there's going to be something that Sean's going to probably try to broker a deal so he can go coach. And Tepper is the kind of guy who can negotiate and loves when people have good ideas. And he'll try to claim it as his own too, though. So I don't know. It's going to get interesting in Carolina. Whew. But that's all the head coaching vacancies and top candidates. Yeah. Any other thoughts on these candidates or anything like that?
No, man. I think there's no question here.
No. I'm telling you, if it's not Carolina, it's the Texans.
I don't think that our leadership, our front office is in a position to where the fans would have faith that them giving up a 1st round draft pick is the right choice. I don't think that that's a move that our front office is going to make.
Mm-hmm. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me. All right. Next up. We have the Two Vet Sports Show's way too early top 25 college football playoff bracket. And Anthony, I'm going to let you go ahead and read this off from the 25 on down.
So actually, guys, we're this is 25 teams. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna give y'all our top 10 verbally, and the entire top 25 list will be posted to social media, Facebook, Twitter, all of it. But anyways, at number 10 we have the Oregon Ducks. Solid season for them this year. At 9 we got Washington. They've got a solid quarterback returning. At number 8, we got who will likely be the best quarterback in the country this year, Caleb Williams. And the USC Trojans at number 8. The well-coached LSU Tigers at 7. Florida State at 6. I think they're going to be a really, really exciting team to watch this year. I think – without a doubt, they win the ACC this year.
Their defense flies around.
Yeah. At 5, we've got Penn State. And then the 4 usual suspects. At 4, Ohio State. 3, Michigan. The Jim Harbaugh-led Michigan Wolverines, by the way.
All the returning crew back, too.
And as we said, guys, in our earlier show, Alabama's not going anywhere. So I've got Alabama at 2 and Georgia at 1.
You know what? I think it's disrespectful.
What's that?
You didn't put UNC on here.
UNC is on there at 22, sir.
Oof. Okay, I didn't see it. My bad. I don't think they're going to be that low, though. I think they're going to be a top 15 team. Drake May is going to light it up again next year. I don't
No,
foresee them.
so this is just my thoughts to start the season. This is
Okay.
not how I think it's going to finish up.
Oh, okay. So you're going to think it's going to come out as UNC at 22?
Yeah. So if I had to give my thoughts right now on who the top 4 will be at the end of the season, I think Georgia's going to go undefeated again. They'll be number 1. I think Ohio State will be 2. Florida State 3 and USC 4.
The good thing is next year the college football playoff is going to be a 12-team fight.
Is it this season?
Yeah, 2024.
Is it this season?
Now you're making me question it. It actually might be next season.
2024.
Yeah, 20. So is it considered the 2024 year going in?
Yeah, I think so. I think we've got one more year of the 4-team format.
Okay. If that's the case, then you're going to see a similar case to this year's teams in the Final Four. I think USC definitely gets in.
But yeah, Caleb Williams is good. Yeah. Anyways, guys, the rest of the top 25, the entire top 25 list will be posted to all of our socials. So if y'all want to check them out, go ahead.
Yep. Is there any other topics you want to hit on? We've actually got to the end of our wonderful slideshow here. Anything breaking news that we can hit on before we hop off here?
No, I'm really excited though about all the talk of real quick. Really excited about all the talk that the Colts are going to jump up to 1 because they're going to do the Texans a favor, and CJ Stroud's going to be the best available quarterback at 2, and the Texans are going to snatch him up, and we're going to get our guy. We're going to get our coach, and I think the Texans are going to be in good shape next year.
Yeah. I think, like we said earlier, I think Sean Payton's going to get the job in Carolina. It's going to be a very interesting. There's a quote here by Mike Kay. The Panthers' most desirable job outlook was likely a bit overzealous. Ultimately, I think that it matters how much you weigh certain factors: ownership, division, quarterback, etc. Not everyone has some priors and expeditions or experiences. 3 and out, and interviewed 4 interviewed and 5 to go, possibly. He also went on to say there are some that do view the Carolina gig as very appealing jobs. Some don't, or at least view their current situations as more appealing. It's all a matter of perspective. Doug Peterson, Nick Sirianni weren't on the heavy radar for guys for the Eagles. Still plenty of opinions out there and options. And he's a beat reporter for Carolina, so he made a good point there, just in general, about the Carolina job. And I do think he dropped out because I think I'm referencing Ben Johnson dropped out of of any head coaching hire because of Carolina going after Sean Payton. I think that was his solidified job. He knew it too, and yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got on my end.
All right, guys, that's gonna do it for us. Y'all make sure y'all like and follow us on social media. Give us ratings on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and iHeartRadio. Share us with your family and friends, please. And tune in on Thursday for our next show.
Yep. All right, guys, have a good one.